This is my journey.
Welcome back. So what if it is that? What if that is what God wants? I mean, if we can't be good enough to match His perfection or greatness, and just testing us would still fall far short of a real reason to make all this, then I think it has to be relationship. You see, relationship is the only thing that requires both God and us. Doesn't it make sense that the reason God made all of this and us is that He wants us to know Him? Couldn't that be why He put such amazing clues around us, like this extraordinary beauty, or the intricate design of a small leaf, or the amazing collection of tiny muscles operating in sync with the movement of like a grasshopper? Couldn't it all be just to let us know He's there and to somehow create a thirst within us to know Him? Even if He gave us the ability to live forever, what would be the point unless we were made to live with Him? See, relationship has to be what God wants. Now, we already said that God doesn't need anything, and certainly since He made us, He must already know us fully. But what He wants is for us to want to know Him. Of course, you know that the one thing we all have is choice. We have the ability, apparently given to us by God, to choose what we want for our lives. We can choose what we eat, what we wear, how we act. The list is nearly endless. Even in places where people live more restricted lives than ours, still they seem to be able to make choices for themselves. Our nation's founders even spoke of such choices as inalienable rights provided to us by our Creator. Sounds like their journey led them pretty much to the same place as ours. It's choice that makes relationship the right answer to our question, because choice is the one thing that truly does depend on us. God seems to have chosen not to force us into this relationship. I guess because that really wouldn't be a relationship, would it? So it is possible to choose against what God's after. And doesn't that in some way explain how some people manage to live like He doesn't exist? Now, that doesn't seem like a good choice, but clearly it's one people can make. And I guess if people can choose against knowing God, maybe some of their choices help us answer a few of those questions we think we have for God. I mean, a lot of those tragic circumstances we want explained seem to come from somebody's choices. Things like violence and other forms of mistreatment. And what if the ones that can't be explained by choice have something to do with God showing us that we need Him? You know, things like natural disasters or other uncontrollable stuff. You see, I can't connect all those dots, but if God's primary agenda is to build relationship with us, then maybe a lot of what we don't understand is part of that process. Can you imagine what a relationship with God would be like? How amazing would it be to think you might be getting to know God? That seems a little overwhelming. But if that's what God wants, then it seems probable that it's also what life is intended to be about. In other words, it's got to be possible. Maybe that's what the Plains Indian chief is after too. But did he find it? Can you? There's one more stop on our journey, and when we get there, we're going to talk about how we come to engage this relationship that God seems to want with us. I'll see you in part 6 if you really want to know.